What if the single most dangerous thing happening inside your arteries right now has absolutely nothing to do with how much fat you eat? Pause on that for a second, because every conversation about cholesterol, every pamphlet in every waiting room, every well-meaning piece of advice from a well-meaning doctor starts and ends with fat. Eat less fat, cut the butter, put down the cheese. And yet, millions of people do exactly that for years, and their LDL barely moves. Meanwhile, something else entirely is silently driving their numbers up, and it is sitting on their kitchen counter, being used every single morning. We are going to get to that. But first, I need you to understand something about the way cholesterol actually works. Because most of what you have been told is not wrong, it is just incomplete. And that gap between incomplete and complete? That gap is costing people 20-30 points on their LDL that they could have back. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes, because by the end, you will understand your cholesterol panel better than most people who have been managing theirs for a decade, and you will know exactly what to do differently starting tomorrow. Let us start with fat, but let us start correctly. The assumption most people carry is this: fat goes in, cholesterol goes up. Simple input-output logic. The problem is, the biology does not work that way. Your liver is the control center for your LDL levels. It produces LDL, and it clears LDL through specialized proteins on its surface called LDL receptors. Think of those receptors as tiny docking stations. The more docking stations your liver has active, the more LDL it pulls from your bloodstream, and the lower your numbers go. The fewer active docking stations, the more LDL just keeps circulating. Here is where fat comes in. Saturated fat, the kind in butter, coconut oil, fatty red meat, full-fat dairy, specifically signals your liver to pull some of those docking stations offline. Fewer receptors, less LDL cleared, higher circulating LDL. That is the mechanism. That is why saturated fat raises your LDL. But polyunsaturated fat, the kind in salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, does the opposite. It signals your liver to activate more docking stations. More receptors, more LDL cleared, numbers come down. A major review published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, analyzing over 60 randomized controlled trials, found that replacing saturated fat with polyunsaturated fat produced the most significant LDL reduction of any single dietary swap, not replacing fat with carbohydrates, not eliminating fat altogether, replacing the wrong fat with the right fat. We are talking average reductions of 8 to 12% in many individuals. So the very first thing to understand is this: you are not removing fat from your life, you are upgrading it. Extra virgin olive oil instead of butter. A daily handful of walnuts, salmon on your plate 2 to 3 times a week, avocado regularly. That mental shift from removal to upgrade is the foundation everything else builds on. Now here's what most people do after making those changes. They wait. They eat their salmon, they switch to olive oil, they are patient. And then the blood test comes back, and the number has barely moved, and they think the diet is not working. But the diet may be working perfectly, while something else is canceling it out entirely. And that something else is what we need to talk about right now. There is a compound in your morning coffee that your liver pays close attention to every single day. It is called cafestol, and it is present naturally in coffee beans, released when coffee is brewed without a paper filter. Here is what cafestol does. It directly suppresses LDL receptors on liver cells, the same docking stations we just talked about. Every morning, if you are making French press, Turkish coffee, espresso, or boiled coffee, you are sending your liver a daily signal to clear less LDL from your bloodstream. Studies comparing filtered and unfiltered brewing methods have found that unfiltered coffee can raise LDL by up to 15 points compared to paper-filtered methods. In people drinking 4 to 6 cups daily over several months, some researchers estimate the cumulative impact can reach 25 points or more. Think about what that means. Someone could be doing everything else right, the olive oil, the walnuts, the salmon, and be neutralizing all of it with 2 large French press coffees every morning. That is not hypothetical. It happens constantly, and it is invisible unless someone specifically connects those dots for you. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Use a paper filter. Drip coffee with a paper filter. Pour over with a paper filter. Both are effectively cafe stall free. Your LDL docking stations never receive the suppression signal. One change, zero cost, meaningful results within weeks. If your preferred method is French press or espresso and changing it genuinely feels impossible, consider making it an occasional ritual rather than a daily one. The frequency matters. Now, we have covered fat quality and a hidden daily driver of LDL elevation. But there is a third mechanism that most people have never connected to their cholesterol at all, and this one runs through your gut. Your digestive system is doing something quietly remarkable every single day that directly affects your LDL. And the key is something called bile acid recycling. Your liver makes bile acids from cholesterol. Those bile acids travel into your gut and help break down the fat in your food. Once they have done their job, around 95% of them get reabsorbed in the lower intestine and sent back to the liver. The loop repeats continuously. Now, soluble fiber interrupts that loop. When soluble fiber enters your gut, it absorbs water and forms a thick, sticky gel. That gel physically traps bile acids before they can be reabsorbed. Trapped bile acids get excreted, and now your liver has a deficit. It needs to produce new bile acids to replace what was lost. To do that, it has to pull cholesterol from your bloodstream. Your circulating LDL goes down. This is documented physiology. The FDA has approved a specific health claim for beta-glucan, the soluble fiber found in oats, because the evidence for LDL reduction met their threshold. That is a genuinely high bar. Research suggests 7 to 10 grams of soluble fiber per day is the threshold where you begin seeing reliable LDL reductions of 5 to 10% in many individuals. Here is your practical roadmap. Rolled oats in the morning. 3 to 4 grams of soluble fiber per serving. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds stirred in, another 5 grams. Half a cup of lentils at lunch or dinner, another 2 to 3 grams. Apples, pears, and citrus add meaningful amounts. And if you consistently fall short of the target through food alone, psyllium husk, 1 teaspoon stirred into water once a day, is one of the most research-supported options available. 1 teaspoon adds around 5 grams, costs almost nothing, and the clinical data behind it is solid. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Fiber lowers LDL through one mechanism. But there is another system in your body, an entirely separate mechanism that can amplify that same bile acid effect, and it lives inside your gut right now. We are going to get to that. But first, if what you are hearing is landing, if this kind of research-backed, evidence-first breakdown of how your body actually works is useful to you, this is the kind of content Golden Glow Senior puts out consistently. If you are not subscribed yet, now is a good moment. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and you will never miss a breakdown like this one. The information in this channel is built for people who want to understand what is happening, not just be told what to do. Certain bacteria living in your digestive tract produce enzymes that break down bile acids, the same bile acids involved in cholesterol recycling. When those bacteria are active and diverse, they reduce the amount of bile acids that get reabsorbed, which forces your liver to draw more cholesterol from your bloodstream to produce replacements. Same downstream result as soluble fiber. Different mechanism entirely. This is why gut health and cholesterol management are not separate conversations. They are the same conversation. The most practical way to support that bacterial diversity is through fermented whole foods, plain kefir, miso, kimchi, sauerkraut. 1 to 2 servings per day consistently, not occasionally, but as a genuine daily habit. Supports the kind of gut environment that helps cholesterol metabolism quietly in the background. A bowl of miso soup with dinner, a tablespoon of kimchi alongside a meal, a cup of plain kefir in the morning alongside your oatmeal. These are small, easy, low-effort habits, but accumulated over weeks and months, they are building infrastructure that makes everything else in this video work better. Now, at this point in most videos on cholesterol, we would wrap up with a few more tips and send you off. But I said at the beginning that the most important insight was coming, and we are almost there. Because what I am about to tell you in the next 2 minutes is something that changes how you interpret your cholesterol panel entirely. And I can almost guarantee you have not heard it framed this way before. First, the foundational reality that has to be said directly. If excess body weight is part of your picture, losing 5 to 10% of your total body weight produces meaningful improvements in LDL and overall lipid profile. First, the foundational reality that has to be said directly. If excess body weight is part of your picture, losing 5 to 10% of your total body weight produces meaningful improvements in LDL and overall lipid profile. Resistance training improves insulin sensitivity and reduces triglycerides. Both matter. The clinical target is 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week plus 2 resistance sessions. If you are starting from 0, 20 to 30 minutes of walking per day and 2 basic strength sessions with body weight is your minimum effective dose. Start there. But here is the thing I want you to sit with. And this is the insight I teased at the beginning. Your doctor almost certainly only looks at your total LDL number. But LDL is not one thing. LDL particles come in different sizes, and the size matters enormously. Small, dense LDL particles are significantly more dangerous than large, buoyant ones. Small, dense particles are like tiny, sharp fragments. They penetrate arterial walls more easily. They oxidize more readily, and they drive atherosclerosis more aggressively. Large buoyant particles pass through more smoothly and cause far less damage. 2 people can have identical LDL numbers on a standard blood test. One of them has mostly large buoyant particles. The other has mostly small dense particles. Their cardiovascular risk profiles are completely different, but their lab results look the same. Here is where exercise enters in a way most people have never heard. Regular physical activity shifts LDL particle distribution toward the larger, safer type. Even when total LDL barely changes on paper, the composition beneath that number is improving. You are reducing the dangerous fraction even if the headline number does not move dramatically. This is why someone can do everything right and feel frustrated that the number has not dropped more, when in reality, their cardiovascular risk has improved substantially in a way the standard panel cannot capture. Ask your doctor about LDL particle size testing if you want the full picture. It is not standard yet, but it is available, and for some people, it changes the interpretation of everything. Now I need you to pay close attention here, because this section could prevent real harm. There are 2 supplements widely marketed right now as natural cholesterol support. Both are popular, both are heavily promoted in the wellness space, and both carry risks that their marketing materials will never tell you about. The first is red yeast rice. Red yeast rice lowers LDL. There is no question about that. It works because it contains a compound called monacolin K, which is chemically identical to a prescription statin drug. When you take red yeast rice, you are essentially taking an unregulated statin. The serious problem is the fermentation process used to produce red yeast rice can generate a contaminant called citrinin, a mycotoxin with documented kidney toxicity. Commercial testing has consistently found citrinin contamination in a significant proportion of products on the market. The contamination levels vary unpredictably from batch to batch. There is no regulatory oversight ensuring a consistent dose. There is no guaranteed purity standard. The painful irony is that people choose red yeast rice specifically because they want to avoid the risks associated with pharmaceutical statins. But without standardized manufacturing, they are actually taking on more uncertainty, not less. If your LDL is high enough to need statin-level intervention, a conversation with your doctor about an actual prescription statin controlled dose, regulated manufacturing, documented safety profile is genuinely the more responsible path. The second supplement is concentrated green tea extract in capsule form. Drinking green tea is beneficial. 3 to 4 cups daily has solid evidence behind it, including modest positive effects on LDL, and carries no meaningful risk for most people. Drink the tea. Enjoy it freely. Capsule supplements containing concentrated green tea extract are a completely different matter. There are documented cases of serious liver injury, some requiring liver transplants, associated with high-dose green tea extract supplements. The FDA and the European Food Safety Authority have both issued formal warnings about this specifically. The problem appears to be concentration. A cup of tea delivers a certain dose of its active compounds in a diluted, naturally paced form. A capsule delivering the equivalent of 40 or 50 cups can overwhelm the liver's processing capacity in susceptible individuals. And the difficulty is that you often cannot identify in advance who those susceptible individuals are. Natural and safe are not synonyms. That distinction matters when we are talking about organ damage. Before we close, if this kind of evidence-based, no-agenda breakdown is the kind of health content you want more of, Golden Glow Senior exists specifically for this. Subscribe if you have not already. Every video on this channel is built around one principle. You deserve to understand your own health, not just manage it. That subscribe button keeps this content coming to you. Here is what I want to leave you with. The research is consistent on one thing. Isolated changes produce modest, inconsistent results. What produces lasting, meaningful LDL reduction is when multiple mechanisms work simultaneously. When you change the entire environment your liver operates in, not just one variable. Think about what happens when you stack these strategies together. Olive oil activates more LDL receptors. Oats and chia seeds interrupt bile acid recycling. Salmon pushes LDL clearance further. Switching to a paper filter removes a daily suppression signal your liver has been receiving for years. Walnuts add plant protein and fiber working in parallel. Kefir and kimchi build the gut infrastructure that supports everything else. And consistent exercise shifts your LDL toward the safer particle size, even when the number on paper moves slowly. None of these changes alone is a revolution, but all of them together. That is when you start seeing the 20 and 30-point drops that make your doctor ask what you have been doing differently. The patients who make the most meaningful, lasting improvements are never the ones who did everything perfectly. They are the ones who made the right changes consistently, week after week, month after month, and kept going even when progress felt slow. Because your cholesterol is not a snapshot, it is a reflection of your habits over time. And the habits you build over the next 90 days will show up clearly in your next blood panel. If this breakdown was useful, a like helps more people find evidence-based information when they are searching for real answers. Most of what appears when people search this topic is trying to sell them something. This channel aims to be the exception. Consistency beats perfection, every single time. See you in the next one.